Hey everybody, John Felt here, and this is the Blue Water Outlook Weekly Weather Briefing for the 21st of April 2024. I tell you, the main story this week is going to be a transition from some colder air to some milder air, maybe some severe weather later this week, but nothing like we had, most likely nothing like we had last week. So let's get started in today's weekly weather briefing. Well, last week, like I said, we had a lot of severe storm activity. You can see all the storm reports here. A little bit of everything, high winds, hail, and tornadoes. Here are the tornado reports we had last week, the red triangles. And in St. Louis weather radar here, I wanted to show you here, each one of these little notches. There's a notch right here, and there's a notch right here. Each one of those produced a weak EF0 or EF1 tornado. I believe there were 9 tornadoes in perhaps an hour and a half period. Okay, so as far as rain goes across the nation, it was centered over Iowa, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. And look at the streakiness of those paths. That streakiness indicates thunderstorm tracks. Sometimes some areas get some really heavy rain and surrounding areas not as much. There was also some heavier rain along the lower Ohio River Valley, and also some heavy rain over Southern California, where there was some flooding in that area. Now, in addition to the rain, there was some snow, mainly in higher elevations, but a few spots in the upper Midwest. Nebraska and the Northeast U.S. did get some snow. That's gone now. It melts very quickly this time of year. So the weather event going on at this time is an area of low pressure moving along the Gulf Coast, producing some heavy rain. That's our wintertime track, eastern Texas, across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. Temperatures last week, you wouldn't know it if you were in the middle part of the nation because it's quite chilly, but it did average above normal before the strong front came through with those thunderstorms. This morning, you can see temperatures were in the 20s and 30s over a very large part of the nation. So very chilly weather start to the day in many spots. And why is that? Well, you can easily see the dome of high pressure centered over the U.S., right over Kansas and Nebraska. That's a stable air mass, a dry air mass, and a chilly air mass. If you're interested in rivers, a bit of river flooding here and there, and this is the time of year we could see widespread spring snowmelt flooding. I covered that pretty extensively, the lack of snow, and you can see a little bit of flooding here and there on the Ohio, tributaries into the Ohio, especially the lower Ohio River Basin, and also the lower Mississippi and along the mid-Atlantic region. But all this is relatively minor compared to what could occur this time in spring. Now, the reason the cooler air is a dip in the jet stream here that has pushed in, but by the end of the week, we see a pretty big change where we see low pressure over the southwest and a big ridge of high pressure over the central and eastern U.S., and that's going to warm things up. And you can see that on the temperatures here. The first 5 days, we have warmer air in the west, but look at this, all this cool air here lingering. But as we get towards the end of the week, we really change things up very quickly, and we get quite a bit of warm weather in the central and eastern U.S. And then by the first week in May, overall, not so much of a gradient in temperature that we've seen. Overall, it looks like just basically near to above normal temperatures. Okay, so that was temperatures. Let's talk about rain this week, and it looks like it's going to be a fairly quiet week. It looks like right over Iowa we could get some rain, and overall that's sort of a needed rain. It's going to put some delays in the field work because last week we had some rain as well, but it's recharging soil moisture. We're going to have to keep an eye on this area of low pressure here. This is very strong winds from the south, and that's associated with that warm up. This is Thursday. I do think we're going to have a chance of severe storm activity with that system, but that's not till the mid or latter part of the week. Okay, so now if we do want to take a look at the extended outlook here for week 2, that's the image on the right. You can see that above normal temperatures, near to above normal temperatures over most of the nation, and maybe a better chance of some rain in the plains. And finally, if you missed it, here is the outlook for May. Take a look at it for your area. So again, in summary, many parts of the nation starting off cool this week. We're going to warm up by week's end. And with that transition, especially in Iowa and surrounding areas, a good chance of rain and probably some severe storm activity as well, middle to latter part of the week. That's this week's weather briefing. If you ever have any questions or comments, let me know. If not, I'll talk to you again next weekend. Take care.